Here, it's your man Nat Busy, aka Nat Burnz, aka Nat's Incredible, aka Nat Believable, aka Big Chuck, aka whatever you want me to be on some positive. You heard? Big shout to Miss Latanya, Miss L, Sullivan, getting busy holding down the fort, representing for Mars Million. I'm feeling like a Mars Millionaire today. I got my Mars Million shirt on. Gonna have a real dope show for you today. Got some hip hop royalty coming through. Been waiting to chop it up with this brother for a minute. So I look forward to that. We're gonna get right into the proceedings this evening, you know what I mean? We're not gonna waste too much time and all that, you know what I mean? Take my glasses off. Ear. Let's wait for you, King. Miss L was shaking. Yeah, you just gotta accept it, King. All lies on crack. What up, broski? Shaking with you. Right. Microphone Prince. All you gotta do is hit the thing and accept my request, good brother. I'm gonna cancel it and send it again. We gotta chop it up. See if we can get this thing together. All right, boom, there it is. Peace.
Yeah.
What's going on, my G?
Chilling, my dude. What is up?
No doubt, man. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, we kind of been supposing to had this conversation a while ago.
No doubt, man. I see a lot of jewelry on that wall behind you, man.
Yeah, man. Ain't nothing platinum, but it's a lot of accomplishments up there, you know.
No doubt, man. So for the people, man, so I don't mess nothing up. Let the people know who you are and what you do, bro.
My name is the Microphone Prince. It's like a lot of confusion about who did what first, you know what I'm saying? So all I am is the first dude, Puerto Rican dude, to get a label, an album deal, and put out a solo album. You know what I mean? And it was on Polygram, Next Plateau, with Salt and Pepper, Sybil. So, but actually, the first dude, first Spanish dude to get a deal was Tito, and it's funny because he's the one that got me my deal, because they was looking for him. It was because OC had a bunch of records with Peso after the Fearless 4 thing. So Next Plateau, Eddie O'Loughlin was looking for a Puerto Rican rapper and shit. So they wanted Tito bad, and shit. He wasn't really feeling it like that. So he called me, and he sent me over to OC. So I gave him some tracks. Had Greg Nice on the joint, and they liked it. You know what I'm saying? So they gave me a shot.
No doubt, that's dope, man. You hip hop history for real, because you pointed out that you were also extra in the movie Beat Street, right?
Yeah. That's where I met Jazzy Joyce and a bunch of other people and shit.
Yeah, it don't get no more hip hop than Beat Street, man.
Yeah.
Especially on the New York side of things. I don't know what they was doing with breaking and all that on the West Coast, but I know Beat Street was the juice of my generation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that shit was crazy because we used to watch the other movies and West Coast movies, breaking and all that.
Yeah,
it was all good, you know what I'm saying. But you know, like with B Street, the dancing to me was the most authentic shit.
It was b-boy.
Yeah, cause like the way they had the rappers, I didn't really like it. You know what I'm saying? They had Treacherous 3 with they hold their heads in the hole singing the Christmas rap. All that. And I'm used to seeing these motherfuckers like tear down the stage, people screaming and heartbeat and all that shit. So I didn't really like how they did that part, but the dancing was the real shit, So
Absolutely.
And that was actually a real battle that they had on the spot. You know what I mean? They kind of filmed it like documentary style because they really wanted to get at each other.
At the train station?
Nah, at the Roxy,
the club,
the big one.
Roxy.
Yeah, because like they was really like trying to get at each other, like ready to fight and all that. So when they started filming it, it was like real shit. So that was like they couldn't take the realness out of that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when Melly Mel was rhyming at the end, first you noticed the kid was rhyming saying Melly Mel's part.
Yeah.
Remember that?
For sure, I remember.
B Street Breakdown. So the dude came up doing the verse. I was like, oh man. And then on the second verse, Mel came in, and I was like, all right.
That was crazy, man. That was crazy. Man, we talking what? 84, maybe?
Yeah, definitely 84.
Wow, yeah.
Cut class to go to that joint, me and Capone.
Capone, the comedian.
Yeah, he's a rapper. Fuck that.
He was an MC for real?
Yeah. Yeah, kid. Like my original joints was with Capone. Like when we was with like Mr. Magic, Red Alert, Marley Marl, and all that shit. Like all that shit was with Capone. We just showed all of them. We did, Beacon Theater.
Capone the comedian, funny king New York king of comedy. Was an MC.
He's a rapper. He was just always a funny dude. We was like, yeah, you need to be a comedian. And he fucked around and did it.
Oh man, that's dope, man. He's one of my favorite comedians, man. I'm gonna have to see if you got some old footage or something, or some old tapes or something, man. See if I can hear some bars, man.
Oh no, I'll send you the link. We got a couple of joints.
Yo, he's a funny dude, man. He was on I think it was what's the Sway in the Morning, and people was calling in and he was snapping on him, and he told this one dude, your mother's a hip hop crackhead. She be in the dope spot talking about I want to. Yo, I fell out.
Yo, I never heard that one. That's crazy.
Yo, I fell out, man. But son.
I'm very careful when I talk to him because he got jokes
all day, right?
Yeah.
Any kind of swole so he can back up, you know, because sometimes they snap on you.
Working out.
Yeah. So you from the boogie down Bronx? What section?
South Bronx, 7, Grand Concourse, Hybrid. Yeah, that's where there's a lot of history in Hybrids, man.
Born and raised out there.
Word?
I'm saying you're born and raised out there.
I was. Yeah.
I'm from Long Island. I'm from Hempstead, Long Island.
Oh, we used to go to Long Island too. We used to go to Huntington. Amityville.
No doubt.
We fought our way out of many roller skating rinks.
Coming out there thugging us out, man.
Y'all used to be hating out. Y'all was trying to thug me out. So we came out of the show one time. Yo, brothers was outside with tree branches. Like, we were snatching up girls and all that. Yo, we had to run to the car. My man, my DJ got punched. got punched in the face. We was driving, and just a hand came in. Blah.
Oh man, that's crazy. Well, Long Island is like the down south of New York. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we got a complex when dudes come out from the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. They come out and the first thing they say is, "I'm from the Bronx, son. I'm from Brooklyn." Yeah. And we got a complex, and that's when I learned early. Pride is pride, man. People going to defend whatever territory they got. Yeah. And y'all just got mucho pride out in the Bronx and Brooklyn especially. And even Queens and especially Harlem.
Like Long Island has some heavy hitters in hip hop. So it's like y'all I wasn't like at first, I was like Long Island, but nah, like y'all had Rakim was from Long Island, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Juan Dance.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of slept on MCs from Long Island. Method Man is from Hempstead, groomed, raised out in Hempstead on my block. Terrace Avenue. Prodigy was from the Shacks in Hempstead. We had the young kid A+. There's a couple more I'm probably missing, man. But Hempstead, we had some esteemed rappers, EPMD and all of them from Brentwood, and De La Soul from Amityville, Craig Mack, God bless the dead. Yeah, so we had our share, you know what I mean?
Like that from borough to borough. Like, I mean, the Bronx and Harlem was all right, but Brooklyn, like we used to go to Rock and Brooklyn, niggas used to be out there robbing, like just snatching
early.
Niggas in the face, taking chains, like,
So I was a kid then, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't moving around like that, man. 84, I was 12, and my mom said moved us down south anyway. So at that time, you was a brother of age, a teenager. You know what I'm saying? You probably had your shines on and all that. Mm-hmm. What was it really like trying to protect them shines like that? And for those that don't know shines is your chain, your jewelry. Like,
we had to be careful, man. Like, first of all, Brooklyn, we did a show in Brooklyn one time, and we had leathers, we had the dookie ropes, and we were taking the train, and we had to walk. We did a club deep in Coney Island. We had to walk to take the train. I don't know how we made it home, dude. Like we was.
And you made it home with your shines?
Yeah. We made it home. Cazals, everything.
That was like Warriors. That had to be like the movie Warriors right there, man.
Yeah, exactly. And it was right past Cornell and right past.
Yeah.
So yeah, like but for the most part, we was real careful where we washed it. You know what I mean? Like we wasn't really going. And if you tuck your shit in when you go to Brooklyn, like it ain't really about being the hardest dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the smartest at that time.
Anybody could get got, for real.
Yeah, that's crazy. So how'd you get started with this hip hop thing, bro?
Summer of 1979, I heard Rapper's Delight on the radio. I didn't know hip hop existed till I heard that. And then so I was like, yeah, I can definitely do that. I started doing it. But then,
so hold up, man. I just want to take a second. Because you say you born and raised in the Bronx.
right.
But up until 79 was the first time, like, you didn't hear the stuff that was happening, like, in 72 with Kirk, Kool Herc and all of them?
Nah, because I was young. I was born in 67. So 79, I was 12. Kind of like, my parents were kind of strict, so I wasn't really getting out.
Okay.
But after that was when I started hearing what the real shit was, because I heard the Sugar Hill Gang, and then I started seeing like the flyers and the mixtape from the Ecstasy Garage, Cold Crush Brothers, Tricky Vic, like, and that's where I really started like understanding that it was from that age I understood that there was a commercial aspect to the Sugar Hill Gang, and it turns out it was a completely bogus crew. You know what I'm saying?
Milli Vanilli, that was the first Milli Vanilli of hip hop.
And they took Kaz's rhymes, so I found out later about Grandmaster Kaz, and then I found out that Big Bang Hank took his whole joint.
Yeah.
And he spelled his name on the joint. I'm the skate.
Yes.
You can't even change the name. Like, wow. So, but then I started getting into the Cold Crush and then the Fearless and Treacherous 3 when they came out with Love Rap and New Rap Language. Shit blew my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, wow.
So when did you first decide to put pen to paper, or did you start like a lot of us just off the one the freestyle, yes y'all to the beat y'all type rhymes?
I was never good with the freestyle to this day. God bless Biggie, Jay, and all of them that could do like stand up there and go do that. I don't even believe that shit happened for real. I believe it from Biggie, but I don't know I don't know that Jay is writing them perfect match on the spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, if you could do it, he could do it. But nah, I was always writing. I was just always writing.
What I figured out by Jay, I think I was watching. What was the one he did?
22 Twos.
Nah, it was the movie. One of the movies. I guess it was the Blackout movie or something like that. And when he was in the studio, what I saw him doing was kind of freestyling.
Right.
But if it didn't sound right, it was like, all right, let's take it back.
Right.
So to that extent, as an MC, he's writing. He's just not using paper.
Right. So, but then they said what Biggie did was different, though.
Biggie had it already in his head, the whole rhyme.
Yeah, they said they'll play the beat, and Biggie just be sitting there with his eyes closed somehow. And then he'd walk in the booth and do the rhyme.
Yeah, now that's some spooky shit right there.
Huh?
That's some spooky shit. That's some next level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I got to write my joint a couple of times, then I got to say it, and then I got to tear it up and write it again. And then once I could write it all the way through, like I hear it in my head, then I know that I know it. And then that's when I want to go to the studio because it's going to cost me less because I ain't got to try to remember the rhyme in the booth. That's whack right there when you're paying your own bread.
Yeah, for real.
Word, man.
Be like $25, $30 an hour if you get a deal. So
back then, I think they how did the studio? It seemed like studio time went up lately, as opposed to what it was back then.
Well, when I say 25, I'm talking about a dude's house with the computer system now. I think it's easier to get cheaper time now because everybody got a studio at home. But back then, we was paying like $65 an hour.
At an analog.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, at an analog studio, you was going to pay a little more because you had to get the reel-to-reel and all of that. And
right.
Then when they moved to the DAT machines and they had the little DAT player, I think it was being like $25, $30 an hour, maybe $35 an hour. Big shout out to my man Snow. Big shout out to Granddaddy IU out there, them brothers out in Queens, because that's why I was doing a lot of recording back then. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you started putting pen to paper, man, what was the vibe like for you? What made you first? Do you remember the first time you put pen to paper? Yeah,
actually, it was in Long Island. I was in Huntington. I was writing the L to the O, the UIE, and just doing what I heard. You know what I mean? Like they spelling their names, and talking about how nice they are and all that. But it ain't really start getting crazy until I hit. I was in junior high, and I met my man Lance, and we wound up. He brought me up to High Bridge. I used to live on Morris Avenue. He brought me up to Highbridge, introduced me to his brother Damon. I don't know if you remember a group named 4x4. Back then, wound up doing that group. They toured with Jan Jackson, Heavy D, and all that shit.
Get out of here.
Yeah, kid. So he took me up there, and we formed a group called the Throwdown 4. And that's when I really started going hard, because it was like 3 other guys in the group, and our DJ Paradise from X Clan.
Yeah, so, big shout out to Paradise Gray, man. That's a good brother right there.
Yeah, he was the first one that started putting me up on the shit that's going on racially. You know what I mean? He was like, I'll never forget. He was like, you ever notice they got the Just for Men, and then they got the one with the black dude on, coarse hair and all that shit. He was like, if a black man goes in there looking for Just for Men and they don't have that one, he'll take the black that has the white man on it. Yeah. But if the white man go in there for the black, he's not going to get the one with the black man on it. You
wow.
know? And that just started me thinking like, that's true, man. Ever since then, it's been downhill with realizing, the shit that's going on.
The disparity.
In the country, yeah, man.
Yeah. So that was crazy, man. I know we got a lot to talk about, so I want to move us through, but it's important that we learn history, man, because people try to write out a lot of history with everything, and we definitely shouldn't let that happen while we're still on the planet as it pertains to hip-hop. Like, because you and I, it's crazy. You're older than me by a couple of years, but we actually started at the same time with this MCing thing. Like, I was a little kid, and I used to mimic what was on the radio and all that. So I be feeling like a personal part of the history. Like I'm for where I was at and what I was doing, I was hip hop to that section, and you was hip hop to your section. Yeah. So as you move through, I know you talked about Tito making a call for you in lieu of himself to get you the deal and things of that nature. And it sounded like you said your rap name at one time was Louis something.
Louis Delight.
Louis Delight.
Yeah. Like, it sound like a chicken place.
Well, Louis Delight. Yeah.
Everybody was, so-and-so D, Ruby D. So I was like, I want to do the D, but I wanted to add something to it. Delight.
Louis Delight. Yeah, I was Charlie Chan back then. It's crazy, right? I went from Charlie Chan to Charlie Ski. Right. I was a ski for a long time before I knew it meant sniffing cocaine. I ain't never sniffed no coke in my life. I'm like, that's what a ski is? I ain't know that.
Yeah, I'll switch up now.
Word.
So telling you about, he's a pastor now, but his name was Dave Ski back in the day.
Word.
Same thing. When he found out the ski was for coke, it was like, gotta change that.
Wildin', man. You on the slopes. So when did you get your name changed?
It's weird because I guess nobody even knows. Even people that know me don't know this. It was like people were adding titles to this shit, Grandmaster, whatever. So I had changed my shit to the Grandmaster Louis Delight.
Yeah.
So then I switched it to, I heard DLB. It's weird. I heard DLB say the Microphone Monarch.
The Microphone Monarch?
Oh, the Microphone Monarch. Monarch means like a king. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I ain't the king. There's a lot of niggas better than me. At that time, I still believed in God. So I was like, that's the king. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I'd be the prince. I was like the Microphone Prince. So it was the Microphone Prince, Louis Delight. So then when I signed my first deal before Next Plateau, I signed a single deal with a little label. That's the joint we did with Capone. And he was like, yeah, just leave it as the Microphone Prince. I was like, all right. So then we did that. I always think it's good to reinvent yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I moved through a lot of eras. I'm old. You know what I mean? So that was one of my movements from not making records to making records. I was like, I'll be Microphone Prince. And then later on, I got with Ironclad and Tito. It turned into TMP.
TMP.
It up, but keep it lodged into the past, but going into the future.
No doubt. So when you say you was the first Puerto Rican to sign that solo deal like that, you know what I mean? And you had, I think at the time, the name of the joint was Trunk of Funk. That was the single.
Yeah, that was the album too.
How was it like on that road like that, and moving with being like there was no other Puerto Ricans at that time, right?
Right. I mean, it was great, and it's funny because I didn't really realize till years later that, because Fat Joe came out the same year, but he came out in June. You know what I mean? Obviously, he took off and I didn't. You know what I mean? So being the first, you know, it means something, you know what I mean? But, you know, like it means something to Puerto Rican. I mean, like oh, that was the first dude that kind of opened the door.
What about Power Rule? Was he around at that time?
Yeah, but I don't know why I didn't hear about him at that time. And then, you know, there was a lot of rappers. There was Whip Whip, Got a Rock, you know, Charlie Chase, DJ, Old Master. He was a DJ who produced the album, deal with Tito. So there was a lot of rappers, but not everybody was getting the deal. Like when Tito was signed with Elektra, I think it was, Problems of the World, you know, that was big. Curtis Blow signed him, you know.
Curtis Blow signed him to that? He was A&R in that?
Yeah. And, you know, he was an artist too, but, you know, he was a, like, producer and all that shit. So, yeah, he signed him, you know.
That's dope. So we move a little fast forward past that. You said we get to the TMP Ironclad era. Now, that's the era where you stand out to me at. Even though I didn't know who you were at the time, the movement was undeniable because that's when Star had took over at Hot 97 in the morning.
Remember that?
Star be on his best bullshit. And this was before, this was before even the whole Aaliyah situation, God bless the dead, right?
Right, yeah. That was before Aaliyah. And Star played everything we did. Like, he played like 4 or 5 different records. Like, he was really in our corner. And before I knew him, like, he was one of them dudes that was like, yeah, we're going to bump heads. Talk real slick.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, he had, like, the hater and all that shit. And I find out in my life, usually, when I hit it off with somebody like that, like Leary, it turns out that I'd be the closest with them after a while because sometimes it's that energy, you know, that you know, a real motherfucker, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was big for us, man. He did a lot of stuff. He put a lot of our records on. I don't know if you ever heard when with the Aaliyah shit, with making fun of Aaliyah and all that, fake crashes and all that.
Oh, he was wilding.
Yeah, he was wild. So, after that, he started dissing Jay-Z and all that, and that's when he called us and was like, "Yo, I need a joint." You know what I mean? So then I went at Jay and shit. It was.
Yeah, I remember them joints, man.
You know, Apollo Creed. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Who the fuck is this? You know?
But see, New York is so fickle that it didn't seem that way really at the time because in New York, a lot of times we have more respect for the dude in the street than the dude in the booth. Right. And Jay-Z, for what it was worth, he was just the dude in the booth at that time. He nice, he Jay-Z. But for us that was listening to what was going on, it's like, yo, these some real live street dudes. And the movement was like incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all movement, the way y'all was moving around, deep, bunch of Puerto Ricans, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy.
What's crazy was that T and J, because T was big in New York, you know what I mean? Like first dude I knew with a yacht. There was a lot going on.
Devastating Tito.
Yeah. So he used to send bottles to Jay back and forth and all that. So when that happened, you know, we heard that Jay was like, yo, like, where's this coming from? I know dude, you know what I mean? But I think he probably knew it was business, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, we was trying to take your head off.
But for you, it definitely wasn't personal.
Right. But what's funny was Jay owned part of Hot 97. So when that started going down, Jay was like, I'm not doing Summer Jam. Like, nobody really knew about this.
Wow.
Jay, I'm not doing Summer Jam because y'all playing this dude, he's getting at me every day because Star was playing the joint 3 times a day.
Yeah.
3 times a day. I was coming at this nigga now. I know he didn't want to say nothing back because he would be helping. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he kind of ignored me. He threw a couple of subs back, like in a couple of joints. I know he was talking about me. He was like, nigga, you don't even know me, man, how I feel to be a hater. I was like, I know that's for me because he ain't talking about Star. Star's the hater.
Star is the hater, but you rapping on behalf of the hater.
Right. So he was like, you don't know me and you mad. So he talking about me. You know what I mean? So, so he threatened to not do Summer Jam, and eventually Star had to leave, like behind that whole thing and shit. So Star broke out another station. You know, Winky Wright,
the boxer.
So we used to do the clothes for him. You look at his early fights, he had ironclad robes and all that.
Word.
So Star was like, it was like, yo, we're gonna get a deal. We're gonna get something out of jail. So him and T went up to the Rockefeller offices and walked out with a clothing with a deal for Winky Wright, and then Winky Wright started wearing Rockaway shit.
Word.
A little behind the scenes shit. I probably shouldn't even be saying all that, but yeah.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
you know, I know Jay, like for real, like he's Jay, no doubt. You know what I mean? But I mean,
Yeah.
that's hard. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, you was going hard, man. You was disrespectful. You was very disrespectful, son.
they said Leor Cohen called from Def Jam, like, because Jay's album had just come out and this
Yeah.
was good. You know what I mean? So yeah, Leor Cohen was like, yo, like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? This Fat Joe called the station. I said a line about hit you with the champagne bottle, make you really feel like fun or something.
Yo, and this is after Pun is gone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, did Fat Joe feel some type of way because people looking at you now, you all slim and trim and in shape and all that, but
Right.
during that time, you know, you was in the Fat Joe, Big Pun type of.
Right.
You was a big guy.
That time I wasn't that big.
You wasn't.
Nah. But the Puerto Rican thing was kind of a problem for Joe. Actually, I remember one time we went because the Ironclad shit started when G-Rap called Tito to get on the track. It's a track called Papa Collar. So it was originally Nas first, AZ, Tito, and G-Rap. And after that, T was amped. You know what I mean? Like I went to the studio, he did the joint with G-Rap, and then that's when he started wanting to do the Ironclad shit. But around that time, G-Rap had got a message from Fat Joe, and he told T that Joe wanted to sign us for $75,000. And to T, that was crazy because the nigga had $75,000 on his wrist. You know what I mean? Insult. You know what I mean? Like crazy. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was, you know, Joe was a funny. He's a street dude. So anybody he sees, he's looking at you like this. You know. So unless you know him and you get to know him, I never really got to know him. But when he found out that I was the one who said the pun line at Jigga, you know, he gave me a little. But you know, he was real. So he was real lyrical.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. And we'll fast forward a little bit more because you're talking about Joe. I was thinking about how I met you through my man G. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Gary, man. If you checking me out, man, it's been a minute. Yeah, Harlem. You know what I'm saying? And G, you know, he knew what I was doing with you know, rhyming and all that. And he was like, yo, you got to meet my man. Yo, I mean, that nigga's your biggest fan, son. Like, yo, you never heard of the Microphone Prince? I'm like, nah, I never heard of him. He like, I'm going to send you a link. So he's sending me links. And then he plugged us, you know, he said, yo, we're going to go down to his crib. You know, he official dude, though. He official dude. You got to reach out to him, Nat. I said, I'll reach out to him. So I remember reaching out to you. And I'm like, yo, what up, man? My man G said, reach out to you. And you was like, word? Is this street or is this music? I was like, nah. I said, nah, bro, it's music. What's good? You like, all right, well, if you're a friend of G's, you're a friend of mine. What's good? And we've been rocking ever since. But I was thinking about that today. I was like, definitely official tissue, man.
Yo, that's my brother right
there.
Yeah. Yo, he used to, when 50 Cent was hitting heavy, he used to have niggas up in the crib. He used to be like, yo, give me any 50 Cent song. Just like battle. Nigga had me battling 50 Cent. And somebody would throw a 50 Cent song, and he would throw one of mine. I used to be like, damn, that's kind of hot. And he's throwing one of mine. I was like, wow, man, he's my brother, man.
Word, he was campaigning for you hard body. I was like, nah, I never heard of him. But let's delve into that real quick, because I know we're going to get up out of here in a minute. But even as it pertains to you being a Microphone Prince, what was the controversy that happened between you being a Microphone Prince and Will Smith becoming the Fresh Prince?
Well, we were shopping a deal with Tyrone from Cold Chillin'.
Ty Fly.
Yeah, Fly Ty, yeah.
Fly Ty, my bad.
So he had shopped, he was taking our shit around to Pop Art. So I had a joint called Girls. Fresh Prince my shit was Girls, and I was the Microphone Prince. And we had bumped into Alphonse Ribeiro in the studio. He was doing a rap song.
What, Carlton?
He told us to come in the next studio, so we came in, we listening. And it was a song about how the world was gonna end. So we was like, yo, shit is dope or whatever. We broke out. But soon after that, Fly Ty had shot our joint to Pop Art Records, and Pop Art was affiliated with Will Smith somehow. They were in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
His name used to be Chill Will, and he said Fly Ty told me the story. He was like, yeah, they didn't want to sign you, but they asked him to change his name, and pretty much he kind of built that around what I had started. You know what I mean? Wow. You know, he's a talented dude. Like, he would have did everything he did, what his name was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but exactly.
It was cool because it was like Prince Paul or Prince Marky D, and I was the Prince, and he was the Fresh Prince. So
there was a lot of princes back then too, man.
Right.
Yeah, man. Hip hop is funny, man. How that happens, man. Like I know we look at today, everybody's NBA this or something that, a little this, a little that, but it was the same thing, man. It's just it just repeats. It went from the grandmaster phase to, you were MC something, and then we do just collectively just group up. That's crazy, man. So some people would think you took a step back from the music, but I know for sure you never did. You just purely independent now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'll do the music. I put joints out here and there, but it's different when you're running after a deal or you're running after being out there really trying to do it, really going to shows. And so I'm not doing it like that, but I still do my collabs. I did a little independent movie with Thurston Howell, play a little gangster roles and all.
Big shout to the low lights.
Yeah, that's my brother right there too. He can be digging me up no matter where I'm at. He come dig me up. He put the whole studio in a car and drove damn near Philadelphia where I live, set up the joint here, and we recorded Magic. I mean, that's how dedicated that brother is.
That's real, man. I got to get that work ethic, man, because he's been putting in work for a while, man. Man. Yep. A lot of hip hop is a very multifaceted thing with the way the culture moves. That whole low life movement.
That's worldwide.
People don't even understand why they wear polo like they do. Yep. This subset of people that just used to terrorize the Macy's and all of that stuff, man, stealing all kind of polo, has everybody on this whole polo kick and all of that, man. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, like they kind of like commandeered that whole movement for a while, to the point where Ralph Lauren put them in the documentary and all that. Like they're such a big part of even polo, not just the ghetto, side. You know what I mean? Like they really created, the culture, for their culture as well.
Absolutely, brought a lot of attention their way, man. So I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on the fact, like I said, you did go through a time where you had gotten kind of like myself. We got a little big, we got a little brolic, We loving the food, we smoking the illy and getting silk, not the illy, we're smoking the illy.
Regular.
We smoking trees and getting munchies and eating everything in the house and not moving around as much, especially if you're getting a couple of dollars, you get a little lazy, and you had gotten yourself in some health concerns, right?
I got myself up to 460.
Get the fuck out of here.
460. I mean, Pum was like 700, so I was like, wow, 460. I can't even breathe. But what really did it was I had a 3 herniated disc. So that messed with my mobility. Then I developed a thyroid deficiency. So if you have an excess thyroid, it makes you skinny. And if you have a thyroid deficiency, it makes you big. So that was the main cause of me being big. So at that time, I had thyroid deficiency. I had 3 herniated discs. And I had a girl that could cook soul food. So,
you were set for failure.
I was crawling to the toilet. I used to be on my knees trying to take a piss and crawl back. Sometimes I had to do vocals, and we have a studio full of people. I'm laying flat on my back. People stepping over me, and then when it's time to do my verse, I'll get up, do whatever 2 or 3 bars, and then if I had to stop, I would have to lay down and lay completely flat on my back, and that's how I did my vocals, kid.
Wow.
That's how bad my back was. I got to 460, and then I went to the hospital, and I flatlined for 6 seconds. I had thyroid deficiency, pneumonia, lung infection. I had sleep apnea. I couldn't breathe at night. I was stopping for like 45 seconds at a time. So I literally flatlined for 6 seconds, and then after that, when I got home, the thyroid medication started kicking in. My energy started getting good. I started going to the gym. I used to run in the pool, drag myself on a treadmill. I wound up losing 100 pounds, and then I got the opportunity to get a bariatric sleeve. So I had lost 100. That was great, but I was like, I need to, do it faster. So they did that, and ever since then, I've been straight. Now I'm working out, play, baseball, I lift, swim, tennis, So
yeah, it's like you got a new lease on life.
Life back, brother, for real.
Yeah, because that was in the last 5 years or so, right?
2014 was when I was 460.
Yeah.
So it's really about 6 years, but yeah,
Yeah,
man.
because I met you around 2015 or so, 2016
Yeah, I was so
or
big
so.
at that. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I remember the journey. That's why, because I got this thing that I'm implementing as the days go by, man, and that's I ain't really came all the way off the porch, but I got this movement right here called Day One Again. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And it speaks to people who your lifestyle might have went a certain way and you're not where you used to be or where you're comfortable being, and
right.
you want to do something about it. But it's hard, you know what I mean? And I tell people that, if you didn't gain it overnight, you ain't gonna lose it overnight. So when you get up on that day one and you do that exercise, and it might hurt, and you might the next day not want to get out of bed or something, you might not get out of bed. You might sleep the next day away. Don't be discouraged. Get up the next day. Now that's day one again. Because every day is the first day of the rest of your life, man.
Yo, dude, I was just about to say that. I got a joint on the new joint. It's called The First Day of the Rest of Your Life.
Yeah.
Every day when I wake up, back my eyes, I thank God for another day. God, I'm alive. I grew up in the Bronx. That alone is hard to believe. Never did crime or died. Dude, that's hard to believe. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's exactly right. Today is an opportunity. The past is gone. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I used to get to the point where I knew there was days I wasn't working. I was hustling at the time. So I had all day. I had no excuse not to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Days you don't want to do it. So the night before, when I was feeling good, I would make a videotape talking to myself. Like, yo, you bitch ass nigga, you better get your ass up. You ain't got shit to do. You gonna smoke weed and watch TV all day. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, man.
I used to go hard. And then the next morning, when I was like, I had to turn it on and hear myself barking at me.
You know what's crazy about that?
Yourself, huh?
What's crazy about that is because I could tell you, a lot of us got the personality. Ain't nobody else could talk to me like that. I don't care how good your intentions are. That's why my partner here, she said, sounds familiar. Because I'm that guy that'd be like, yo, get your fat ass up, man. You just laying in the fucking bed for you. Pardon my language, y'all, but this is how I have to talk to myself because I can't let nobody else talk to me like that.
Right.
But this is exactly what I would say to somebody I care about, if I seen them going under that way. Like, come on, man, you wilding. Get your ass up.
And it's all real. It was all real. It's all real shit. Just sometimes, sometimes you feel this way, sometimes you feel that way. Sometimes you're inspired, and sometimes, man, the world just feels like it's, coming down on you.
Exactly, man. But you've been able to keep it up. It look like, man, you look healthier than ever, man.
Yeah, man. I actually started like lifting recently. You know what I mean? So it feels good, man. It feels good to be able to, run down the street and not fall apart. I remember one time I was coming from New York. I was weighing about 400 pounds, and we went fishing. And I drove all the way from New York 2 hours to having a massive asthma attack. I was hunched over the wheel like I couldn't even breathe until I got home and got the nebulizer and all that. But it's like, man, it's like when you be real close to death. We as people who eat really bad, we don't realize how we dancing with the devil every day, every time we eat something crazy. You know what I mean?
Wow. And it's messed up when you realize you're doing it to yourself. Like, you can't even blame nobody.
We cigarettes and all that. You're like, damn. Like, if you die at 45, then that's what it is. You know what I mean? But if you have a reason you want to live longer, man, then we can do it.
And I think for you, it was your twin, right? Lil Max?
Hell yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, because I seen that was all culminating at the same time, it seemed like.
Yep. When he was born, man, I couldn't even go see my dude. Like I drove to the joint, and my son had to go get a wheelchair, wheel me in a fucking wheelchair. It was crazy.
Your grandchild.
Yep. And now I throw him on my back and I ride him to the park all day.
This is a prime example, man. This is why I wanted to talk to you, man. Like, I think that we definitely need to sometimes, look, because for yourself, you can look back and see how far you've come. But somebody else can look at you and see, if they put in the work, how far they could go. You definitely inspired me, man. Sometimes, remember, we was going back and forth one time. He was like, yeah, Nat, I was on my thing like 2 years ago, getting it right when I first moved back here to Baltimore. And I was getting it right. But I ran into a situation where my son was underweight. I was like, yo, bro, you got to put on some weight, man. You know, because all he want to do is this all day. This is his little clothing brand. He want to play video games all day. He ain't want to eat nothing like that. You know what I mean? So then in trying to fatten him up, I'm putting the pounds back on. So it's day one again. I got to get back on my Dean, you know?
It's a hard balance when you got other people. Like, maybe not everybody want to be juicing. Maybe they want some soda. Maybe they want some donuts. So it's like, I can't cut it down for the whole family. You just got to learn how to not indulge. Period. You know what I mean? It's hard, you know, but that's why I used to always post a lot of stuff. It wasn't about, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. It was, I know there's people out there who don't feel like they can do it. So if they see me doing it, and it wasn't just the operation, it was 100 pounds before I got the operation.
Yeah, so, remember.
You know, I want people to know, like, yeah, I need my rice and beans. I need white rice. I was eating meat. So now I'm doing this. I'm going to cook the brown rice with the beans, and I'm going to cook chicken instead of steak, and I'm going to sear it instead of frying it, you know what I mean? So like, I want people to know from the side of, because you know, you can see somebody and they be diesel, and then, you know, but you don't identify with that person. You identify with the person struggling. So I want to let you know what the struggle was every day was real. Like, yo, I'm doing it again. So you do it. I'm doing it again. Yo, Kaz call me. A lot of people call me like, yo, you put me on my game. You know what I mean?
Word, man. We got to talk.
You know.
We got to talk about that book, man, and that documentary and all of that, man. I want in.
Real.
Nah, because it's a real success story, man. You know, and not even success in the sense of, you know, being some big super mega star, but success in the sense that your grandson, who when he was born, you wasn't even able to walk to his room. Now he can get on your back and ride to the park. And I see how you are with him. So, you know, he ain't gonna have too many excuses in life when you could go back and say, yo, you see your granddaddy there? Look at your granddaddy here. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep pushing, man, and that's the story. And with that being said, because we don't like to, me personally, I don't like to glorify a lot of that nonsense that we found ourselves partaking in just to get a couple of dollars at times in our lives. It happened. We did what we had to do. You know, it is what it is. But I know you briefly touched on it. Like, yo, I had to get, you know, I used to get a couple of dollars or whatever. So to go from there, somebody who played in the street a little bit, to get to this point in your life where you're raising your family, you're being an example for them in a lot of ways. And one, I seen you working a 9 to 5. I said, yo, I know I ain't too proud to do nothing. I know this king. You know, like he at the 9 to 5, like early. You know what I'm saying? So to see you make that full transition, I'm the type of person that look at that as inspiration. Where, you know, some other people would say, oh, he fell off. Ain't nobody fell off. Your man shined for 10 years and they just gave him 100.
Right.
It don't add up.
It's the longevity. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, I've had cars. I still got mix in the closet that don't even fit me no more. You know what I mean? Big. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, all that shit is still sitting there. You know what I mean? And like, when, you know, like, I got my grandson. I can't be doing the stuff I was doing before. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, I've always been, even when I was with Ironclad, I was working at Home Depots. It was times I used to leave from Home Depot from cutting carpet up for somebody and then go put on my jewelry and go do a show with Fat Joe and them. You know what I mean? So it's like,
wow.
I mean, I never had, you know, I probably sold like 70,000 albums. You know what I mean? So I never had that type of success, but everybody in the industry knows me. And to me, it's the longevity. You know, if you could provide for your family for 30 years, that's the most important thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I got up the hood, we in the birds, my son go to Drexel, or he went to Drexel, you know what I mean? And we ain't stepping over dead bodies and crack files. So, you know, my mother came from Puerto Rico and got us in New York, and I got us out of the Bronx to the suburbs. So maybe he'll do something bigger, you know, moving forward.
Absolutely. It's the only way, man. But that brings us to where we are today. And we know the climate. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, man, rest in peace to Fred the Godson, because when I was hearing you describe some of your health ailments, man, if it would have been a COVID back then, we ain't even talking today.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
The mother. But outside of the COVID, we got the corruption, we got the brutality, we got this thing is getting out of hand. And I know you got a dope idea on how to address that to a certain extent. So you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, hell yeah. Actually, it started from my girl's idea. You know what I mean? Teacher in Trenton, and you know, she was like, you know, we should have a movement like kind of like the Panthers, like people used to come out and you know stand up for people. You know what I mean? and that was a good idea. But the logistics was getting difficult because when you're training people, we were trying to find out a training program for nonviolent intervention, and have people responsible. And but it was like it would take too much to get that many people trained to cover enough. So my idea was to facilitate eyes with an app, sort of like a GPS. You know what I mean? So if I'm driving, I get pulled over. Anybody in the area that has the app will get an alert, and it would be like, depending on how you set the radius, you can set the radius for 10 miles, 5 miles, 2 miles, whatever. So whatever pop off in your area, you can just shoot down there real quick. You can videotape, you can live stream, try a peaceful intervention. And honestly, 2 months ago, this wouldn't have worked because nobody gave a fuck that we had film. It's like people were still denying it. But now all of a sudden, with George Floyd, it's different right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's different.
People now, where the rest of America has to pay attention. When it was just us screaming, nobody cared. When you get people behind anything, you got enough people behind Vanilla Ice. He became a multi-platinum rapper. You got enough white people behind him. Whatever, you know what I mean?
Eminem, all that.
Right. So we got that right now. So and honestly, man, I'm kind of like I'm disappointed, man, because I know people, man, like y'all can't send $5. You know what I mean? Like I was talking to Capone, he was like, "Yo, you can't be going all hard in them videos." People, and it's true. I understand that.
Yes, people get put off.
Right, but it's like, yo, this is not my hustle. This is not my mixtape. This is something to try to save my brother. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, you ain't got money. It's a hard time. Damn, just throw a share on it. Just take a screenshot. Show it to somebody else who maybe got $5, who maybe got the $10. I got a lot of people who sent me $50, $100. I'm up to like $700, but I need $12,000. If I get to $10,000, I'll put the $2. It's no problem. Yeah. But I'm kind of disappointed, man, because I'm not getting nothing, man. Like $5 ain't nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's a lot. It's a lot going on out here, I would say to that. And what I would suggest, you just keep doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Just keep doing the work. You already put it in the universe. What I'm learning is that you take a couple of steps towards the universe is going to come back to you with a couple of steps. So just keep doing the work, man, because those that care and those that want to help, we're going to help. We're going to share. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been knowing of each other for quite a few years or whatever, but it's the first time we get to even poly to poly talk. You know what I mean? Right. So, and that's the universe. You know what I'm saying? And it's on something that's positive. It's on something that's going to be beneficial. For the people that might be a little cynical about it and say, well, how's that really going to work? Well, look at the Citizen app. In Baltimore, a lot of people have an app called Citizen on their phone that just tells you where different things, crimes have happened, sometimes in real time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if the Citizen app can work to let you know what a criminal is doing, why can't this Converge, right?
Yep.
This Converge app work to let you know when somebody feels like they're being abused or threatened by the police. And they're not asking you to come in and combat the police. They're just asking you to come around so you can hold the police accountable. Just pay attention to what's going on.
Right. Right now, that's all we got. Like the only thing that's getting it right now is the videotapes. So if, that could be it. Now, I'll tell you the truth. If that app would have been in existence and I would have got a hit and I would have ran up and seen George Floyd, I don't know what I would have did. I mean, I can't really say I would have risked my life, but I don't know that I could have stood there and watched for 9 minutes. Like at the point. Put it this way: if it was my son, I would have ran and risked my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with the app, I mean, whoever shows up, I saw somebody put a meeting. It was like, yo, we need an app called Pull Up. So when something was popping off, everybody just pull up strap. And I was like, that's not where I got the idea from, but I'm going to change the name of the app to Pull Up.
Pull Up.
Maybe that'll make a little more sense. Like Converge, I don't know. Pull Up, yeah.
Pull Up, yeah. You might want to. I mean, if they ain't trademark it, man, why not? Let's make it user friendly. You know what I'm saying? People understand the Pull Up. People don't understand the Converge. You know what I mean?
Right. And I want to ask you, like, suppose somebody runs out there and then they can't just stand there and they can't just videotape and they, I guess those chances are there when there's a crowd anyway. You know, this is just making sure that we got enough eyes on the situation. And honestly, you know, this would really work if we got white America to join in, because 15 white people show up, it's going to be a different vibe.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I say to that as it pertains to anybody outside of us is a lot of times it's going to boil down to incentive. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me, the NFL didn't all of a sudden have the come to Jesus moment.
Right.
There was an incentive. Their players are really getting frustrated.
Yep.
The popular opinion is really looking at y'all like, yo, Kaepernick was right. Look at this. So now they want to do something that they could have done 2-3 years ago. Well, you could have did it 100 years ago. You could have always played fair.
Yo, you know what that is? They're a business, right? And it's not right, but they're like, the people coming to see us and paying us money are racist and don't want to see that.
NASCAR.
They see that there are probably more people that are not racist, that are anti-racist, than there are racists. So now it becomes a money issue, because now they got maybe the majority of people that are not with it.
Yeah. You know? But even when the reason why they got it to where all these racist people are the primary fans, so to speak, is because you raise the tickets so high that the average man can't go no more.
Right. So only wealthy people can go.
Yeah, only that percentage of people who felt like they're elite over people can go. I mean, because if Colin Kaepernick, who literally didn't say anything to anybody at first, it's just that when the national anthem came on, he would just sit down. He wouldn't get up. Right. And then they paid attention to it, and they asked him in the locker room. I remember, yo, why didn't you get up for the national anthem? He said, you know what? I refuse to take part in the national anthem when it's contradictory to what this country say it's about. You look at what's happening to these unarmed people getting killed. That's when they put him on. Wah, 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 wah. They ain't want to hear no more what he had to say. They're like, oh, this nigga trying to make a statement. You know, who you think you Muhammad Ali or something?
Yeah. What you got? You trying to kick knowledge?
You trying to kick knowledge, nigga? You know what I'm saying? They hit him with the Minister of Society, all that. You know what I mean?
Real.
So then it was a veteran, and I'm a veteran. You know what I'm saying? It was a military veteran that came to Kaepernick and said, look, maybe sitting down is a little disrespectful. If you could take a knee, it might look a little better. Oh, all hell breaks loose. Y'all always want us to bow to y'all. You always want to keep us on our knees. This man taking a knee in protest, and it was the worst thing. You got the president of the United States of America calling him a son of a bitch. Yep. You calling this man's mom's a bitch. Right. When you call somebody a son of a bitch, you calling his mom's a bitch.
Right. A bitch.
For exercising his rights, and you're supposed to be the president of everybody, like y'all said Obama was supposed to be.
And it's just one man taking a knee. Like, look, he's unhappy that people are being murdered. Like, it's like such a small. It's like back in the day with the slave master. You watch the movies, 12 Years a Slave or whatever. Like, they used to wake up the slave people at 3 a.m. and have playing instruments and like, y'all supposed to be happy. I don't even want to see discomfort on your face. I don't want to hear nothing that makes me feel any type of guilty about what I'm doing to you.
Exactly.
It's like you just got to sing and dance. Like, it's just one man taking a knee. Like,
what the lady tell LeBron, shut up and dribble.
Right. Crazy kid.
You know, but this is where we find ourselves at. And it's crazy because, like you said, we from the same generation, give or take. You know what I mean? And we came on the heels of the Black Power movement. You know what I'm saying? You never thought in 80 that we would be here in 20 years later. Well, not 20 years later. What was that be? 40 years later.
40 years later.
That we done went backwards in mentality, because just like you said, yo, we need white people to get down with the movement. So many white people have taken off the hood. Like, yo, word is born. Like, I'm just straight racist. Forget you.
Right. Yo, and I prefer that. I prefer to see the motherfucker driving around with his flag, because I know who it is. I'd rather see an establishment have it on there than to walk in there and have a spit in my sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So how you feel about that, though? You know what I'm saying? How do you feel when people are protesting these restaurants for not letting them eat at the restaurant, or protesting these primarily white establishments for not being able to spend your money with them? Like when people was at, what was the place in New York? Barney's. Remember Barney's in New York was profiling everybody. You go in there to buy a $400 belt buckle. On your way out the door, they talking about, let me look in your bags, and they only pointing you out. why do you want to fight so hard to give some money to the people that don't got no love for you? I don't understand.
That's what I was saying. Like today, I reposted a T.I. joint where they said a restaurant that didn't want to serve a black woman who had her son had some athletic apparel.
That was right here in Baltimore.
And she's she's looking at him like a white boy with the athletic apparel.
Right.
so I'm like, I reposted it, boycott, but we boycotting somebody who don't want it there anyway. But at least with the notoriety now, me and my girl had this argument, not an argument, we have a discussion all the time about it, whether the internet is good or bad. I'm like, it's just a reflection of life. So right now, for this particular time, it's good because it's shedding light on a lot of things. And racist corporations is one, you know what I mean? And then, everything else,
Yeah, but I definitely would say, man, the point you made was excellent. You boycotting somebody that don't want you there anyway. You're taking energy and giving it to this people that don't want you there anyway, when that energy, in my opinion, could be used to support somebody that would want you there. Right. You feel me? And if it's not there, let's build it. You know,
but we don't as a people, we don't do that either.
We have to though.
Like I don't see enough of us. Like we'll do the negative. We'll boycott. We'll point out somebody else doing something wrong. But when it comes to being able to do something right, we don't. I don't think we do enough of that, man. And I mean, and I understand where it's coming from. I understand generational. It's generations. Like we crabs in a bucket. Like I was in the hood hustling. The brother taking money out of my pocket was the same color as me. You know what I mean? So I had to, we had to deal with whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like I understand the mentality. But at some point there has to be an awakening of enough people that I think it's happening now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where enough of the population is waking up to the fact that certain things are real and certain things are right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's why you got to be leery a little bit, because as soon as they say, well, the NBA is back, you feel me? Well, we're going to get ready to do a versus between Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? The world is going to stop. And some shit. Yeah.
I'm glad that the NBA players I heard something about that they were being asked about going back, and they were like, we don't really want to be a distraction right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's kind of dope. I mean, it's like that's what Muhammad Ali was doing.
They keep him at 100.
He stopped his money for the cause. That's what Colin Kaepernick did. Stopped his money.
Yeah. That's real. But we coming down to the wire, brother. Where can they find that information for the GoFundMe and anything else that you got going
on? I'm gonna post it. Everything. I'm on Instagram. Microphone Prince. As the GoFundMe page is in the link, and I'm on Facebook as well. Any post you might have put up on this, pretty much anything I see that has to do with police brutality, I'm throwing the link on there. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
GoFundMe is called Converge. I'm gonna talk to my girl, see if she agrees. We're gonna get the pull up. That has violent implications, but we gotta work it out and see what the legal department is talking about.
No doubt. And music wise, man, you can catch him on Instagram. Not the Microphone Prince. On Instagram is just Microphone Prince.
Right.
On Facebook is Luis. That's Luis.
Caban,
Caban, Caban.
Yes.
Good brother, man. I appreciate you coming through. Anytime, good brother.
Yo, we gotta hey, don't forget about the trap we were supposed to do.
No doubt. We're gonna get it popping, man. We're gonna get it popping, man.
My brother, I love you, man.
Thanks love you too, good brother. Stay healthy, man. Everybody, thanks for checking in, man. We're gonna see y'all next time, same place, same time, man. Easy.
Peace.